Welcome to State of the Offense, your source for fantasy football coverage of your favorite team's offense, the Houston Texans. The Texans decided to undergo a major offensive overhaul as they added number 2 overall pick in the draft, C.J. Stroud. Free agency, they added Devin Singletary, Robert Woods, and Dalton Schultz. And also 2022 draftee John Mechie is back, and these guys are expected to be the new faces of the Houston offense. Laramie Tunsil is one of the best left tackles in the NFL. He graded at a 92 and played all of the snaps. Tunsil was the 5th rated left tackle in the league. Second-year guard Kenyon Green returns as the starting left guard. As a rookie, graded at a 70, which placed him as the number 21 left guard in the game. Last year's center Scott Quessenberry tore 2 knee ligaments in training camp, and he will be out for the year. So second-round pick Juice Scruggs from Penn State, whom they took with the 62nd overall pick, will be the man in the middle. Center is a relatively tough position for a rookie, so Scruggs will have to adjust to the NFL in a way very similar to what quarterback C.J. Stroud will. Shaq Mason was signed in free agency to start at right guard for the Texans. After 7 seasons in New England, Mason reunited with Tom Brady in Tampa in 2022. He graded at an 84, which was good enough for the number 6 right guard overall in the league. He also played 99.9% of their snaps. Titus Howard is playing his 5th year with the team at right tackle. In 2022, Titus Howard graded at a 75, which was good for the number 16 rated starting right tackle in the league. The Texans have invested high draft picks and made big free agent acquisitions to create one of their most talented offensive lines in team history and one of the most talented offensive lines in the league. If the 3 younger linemen, Howard, Green, and Scruggs, grow well together with a franchise left tackle like Laramie Tunsil, the Texans' offensive line will be a long-term team strength. For a 3rd-round pick, Davis Mills has produced fairly well at quarterback. Unfortunately for the Texans, it has not translated into anything other than below-average results. The Texans decided to select Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud with the 2nd pick in the draft. In a year where there were 4 projected first-round talents at the quarterback position, the Texans had their pick between C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. Stroud has excellent accuracy and plenty of skills. It may take a while for the Texans offense to reach its potential, but this is as talented a group as we have seen in a while in Houston. The offensive coordinator comes from San Francisco, so going by that track record, they were able to get production from Garoppolo and Purdy, so Stroud should be able to produce fairly soon. Stroud is currently the quarterback 24 drafted in fantasy football and is 158th player overall. I currently rate Stroud as my quarterback 28 and my 125th player overall. 3rd-year wide receiver Nico Collins is the top returning player in this wide receiver group. Nico Collins has size, speed, and athleticism to become an NFL number 1 wide receiver, but his production has been restricted due to the poor quality of the Texans' passing game. All reports coming out about Nico is that he's building a good rapport with Stroud. Collins was the wide receiver 79 in points last year and the wide receiver 57 in points per game. Nico Collins is the 63rd wide receiver drafted and the 141st player overall. Robert Woods is in town for his 11th season in his Texans debut. Woods has been a reliable complimentary player for a while now. He was the wide receiver 59 in Tennessee last year and the wide receiver 86 in average points per game. Woods is going undrafted now, but if C.J. Stroud is productive early, Woods has a chance to do better than he did in Tennessee. John Mechie III is listed as the number 3 wide receiver on the team. Mechie sat out last year due to a cancer diagnosis and a knee rehab. There have been plenty of good reports about Mechie's performance, so the 2nd-round investment the Texans made in Mechie in 2022 may pay strong results this year. While Nico Collins is getting more attention, Mechie is probably the more reliable player. Mechie was Bryce Young's go-to guy at Alabama in 2021. He's the type of player who can get you first downs. He is currently the wide receiver 75 drafted in fantasy, going undrafted most of the time. I rate Mechie as my wide receiver 69 at player 175. Dalton Schultz was tight end 13 in Dallas last year and tight end 9 in average points per game. Dak Prescott liked throwing to him, so it remains to be seen how Schultz does in Houston with Stroud. Schultz is currently the tight end 12 drafted at the 99 position. Schultz has missed some time in camp due to a rib injury. I rate Schultz as my tight end 16 and my 95th player overall. The offensive system is the Shanahan system, so tight ends usually do well in this offense. For the Texans, Schultz can easily become a favorite target of Stroud, and he may become one of the Texans' best fantasy players. Dameon Pierce exceeded all expectations as a rookie. He dominated the Texans' backfield in 2022. The Texans did sign Devin Singletary away from Buffalo to be the number 2 running back on the team. Singletary is a better player than the Texans' backups from last year. If Dameon Pierce's workload drops, I'm not as thrilled about Pierce in 2023. Last year, Pierce was the running back 28 in total points and the running back 18 in average points per game. Devin Singletary in Buffalo was the running back 24 in total points and the running back 38 in average points per game. Pierce is listed as the number 1 running back on the depth chart currently, but this should be a fairly evenly split workload in the backfield. In average draft position, Pierce is the running back 18 and Singletary is the running back 42 drafted. Pierce is the 45th player taken overall, while Singletary is the 136th player taken overall. I rate Pierce as my running back 21 and my 70th overall player. I think that Pierce will feel a difference in his workload with Singletary around. I rate Singletary as my running back 43 and my 138th overall player. Texans players are generally undervalued and under the radar. Dameon Pierce is probably overvalued because he is the top running back on the depth chart. Houston will probably split their rushing attempts more evenly this year. Plus, with the additions to the passing game, I think that the Texans will pass the ball a lot more than they did in 2022. Nico Collins, John Mechie, and Dalton Schultz can all emerge as unexpected fantasy assets this year. Overall, I think that the Texans had no choice but to change the direction of the franchise again. The Deshaun Watson situation did not work out the way it should have, and 2 years of Davis Mills led to the beginning of the CJ Stroud era. Coming out of Ohio State, Stroud is almost as accomplished as what Deshaun Watson was coming from Clemson. If the Texans can make this work, this year will bring a lot of optimism around the direction of the franchise. If you like today's coverage of the Houston Texans offense, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.